Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, even though a day postponed, is Inquisitor. Quiz, how you doing this week?
I'm doing okay.
Is that
How's
true?
everyone else? Yeah, I'm being unproductive, but fuck it. I'm gonna try to make up for it this weekend.
He's talking about painting things.
Yes, I am.
And rounding out our triumvirate of awesome, as always, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how you doing?
Better than yesterday. My back hurts a little. Otherwise,
Nice.
I'm fine.
And let's everybody in chat and around our triumvirate of awesome congratulate Jack on Bad Comic Reviews for 500 subs. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, and a Twitter ban.
And a Twitter ban. It's not.
Yeah.
He's the only of us that has ever been banned from Twitter for
Not for lack of trying.
No, I've been banned, but never for insulting someone from the NBA. That's Jack's lone distinction.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault that the LeBron James can't take the bans.
Well,
All you said was pansy.
No, I called him
Seriously.
Comrade
Oh,
Pansy.
comrade pansy.
see,
Still,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous. I mean, Jack got to call out somebody for being a fucking commie, and all I did was make fun of some journalists over at CNN to catch my ban.
Right? They're just as big a crybabies.
And,
yeah.
and likely are communists as well. But I didn't get to call them out for being that, is my point. Anyway.
Keep trying, Polly.
I'll keep trying. I did get one of my sock accounts shut down in less than 24 hours. I was pretty happy with that. I think it's because it was a new account and I just, hit the ground running, going at a bunch of different people. And so, like, oh, I think the bots focus on newly made accounts that go around shitposting hardcore,
Probably.
So we're at lots of things going on in the comic book world. Lots of not too bad comics out there. Oh, I know where I want to see the thumbnail for this week. Boom. I'm sure I don't know if you guys saw it. I think chat saw it because it comes up in the waiting room before I start the wait, whatever you want to call it.
No, I saw it.
Oh, wait a minute. The screen just went black. And now it's totally undersized. All sorts of terrible things are happening. Well, I never said I was professional at the job. You know what I mean?
It is the spooky month.
There we go. So, did you guess who that's supposed to be?
No.
Have you seen Hocus Pocus?
Yes.
That's supposed to be Bette Midler.
No.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not.
I'm not even kidding.
That artist isn't very good.
No, it's not.
I'm not even kidding. That's supposed to be like sexified Bette Midler from Hocus Pocus.
You can't sexify Bette Midler. That's disgusting.
Not enough dried up vagina and fucking bitter hatred to be Bette Midler.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of strikes me as funny when you, okay, so this is sexified Bette Midler, right? That's like just drawing like any old sexy comic book girl and saying, oh, this is the sexy version of B. Arthur. And it's like, she doesn't look anything like B. Arthur. That's right. She's sexified.
Well, B. Arthur doesn't need to be sexified. She's already perfect.
You wash your whore mouth.
The Dr. No says it's Marvel's version of Harley Quinn. Bears a more striking resemblance to Harley Quinn than Bette Midler. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Still not, though, because this is not, that there's no way that would ever pass editorial at Marvel.
No,
it's too good.
Yeah.
Look at those boobs.
Yeah, you know what? The boobs are pretty ridiculous, honestly.
I'm okay with it.
Well, it's the shadows at the top of the boobs that,
It's the lighting of the room. What can we say?
I don't know. I think the person who did the digital art went a little overboard with the shadows on top. It looks like she's got a couple of flotation devices attached to her chest.
Don't most women?
I don't know. Do boobs float? Oh, yeah, boobs do float. Huh. Anyway, so that's the... This is Kyle says, who is Bette Midler? Bless you, sir. Bless you for not knowing.
Yes, don't even worry about it.
Do not Google.
Unless you add nudes on.
So where do we want to start today? Let's see. Well, that wasn't rhetorical.
Well, you got to tell us these things.
Yeah, like what are our options?
Well, we can start with the Mormon news that Jack has been perusing, or we can start with Star Wars leaks, or we can go right over to Black Widow teases of sequels.
Why don't we get the Star Wars articles out of the way
Okay.
and start with the leaks so we can just give everyone spoilers now? Warn them in advance and they can come back and they won't miss the main show.
All right.
So
There she
possible
is.
spoilers ahead.
Well, does anyone really care about I don't care about spoilers about Star Trek.
I could not give a shit.
I mean, I was a long time Star Wars fan. The movie I've seen the most in my life has to be like A New Hope, Star Wars, because as a kid, I just watched it over and over and over and over. Like I've seen it more than I've seen Casablanca, simply by virtue of how many times I watched it as a kid. I'm a true fan of the series, and Disney beat it right out of me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
still
it
love
was-
the original series. It's just interest in new movies they beat out of me. It's like, oh, fuck you guys, man.
I'm gonna say that, yeah, interest in new movies is beat out of me with remember Star Wars the movie, but my interest in Star Wars is long dead before that because of the prequels.
Oh yeah,
So
you're that guy.
yeah,
Okay, so this is a Star Wars leak hints at the destruction of the aluminum Falcon. A new Star Wars leak hints at the Millennium Fall. How many times are we gonna skip the first sentence? Fuck. Okay.
What happened to the Lemony Falcon?
They're hinting it's going to be destroyed because Disney needs to destroy all of the Lucas creations.
And it's good to have some lemon zest in your stairwares.
Reddit user Jedi Master 87. Oh God, you poor man. You poor man.
Reddit is just trash. Reddit is trash.
Why did he just call himself Virgin number 8,459?
Right? Reddit user Jacob Jet. I am starting up Streamlabs right now. I just got so many programs running that they're conflicting, but it's doing its thing. I will be there and been launching this whole time. Reddit user Jedi Master Super Virgin posted that the Star Wars leaks subreddit that there is a musical motif in the rise of the Skywalker. I can't talk today, guys. Sorry.
The Rise of the Skywalker.
The Rise of the Skywalkers, titled "The Falcon's Last Ride." Here's the full leak, quote unquote leak. Quote: there is a Tross. Is that what the cool kids are calling the Rise of Skywalker now? Tross.
I sincerely hope not, because that's dumb.
Remember when they were calling it epics?
Why were they calling it epics?
Because it's episode 9, so EP1X in Roman numerals, epics.
Oh God, that's dumb.
That's dumb.
Oh yeah. But when you spend like every day sitting around on subreddits discussing possibilities and wishes and hopes for the next film, you want to come up with something short, and you end up coming up with crap like epics.
Yeah.
There is a Tross musical motif called The Falcon's Last Ride. Motifs from previous episodes will be making an appearance, including Duel of the Fates. There are only a few more sessions of recording JW score in LA. As YouTuber Drunk 3PO points out, Jesus.
It's just like compounding the lame on top of the lame. I'm just going to say it.
Wow. Ebony says, are you saying skip the abstract? No. Abstracts in academic articles are often quite helpful. Of course, you should never read the abstract assuming, or I don't want to buy your stupid shirts on fucking Streamlabs. Fuck off. Okay.
Your attention deficit is funny.
Well, I'm waiting for it to launch. It's taking forever to launch, and it finally does. And they're telling me sell shirts through our service. Oh, fuck off. The abstracts on academic articles are often really good, but anybody who's only ever read the abstract and will sit there and try and tell you what the article's about should not be listened to. But it's a thing Quiz and Jack and myself have noticed online. The headline of news websites online the first line is always the same as the headline. You might as well just skip the first line and read on. I don't know why they just reiterate their headline in the first line of the paragraph. I think it's a bad choice. Finally, Dick Jet, thank you very much for the donation. Everyone over here should stay here in this stream and drop a like. Well, I appreciate that, Jacob. That's very kind of you. Also, on an unrelated note, Eve is currently streaming right now. And after we're done, this stream of Chaos Eves will be left up and you can go back and watch it. So you should check it out because she's got great material. Mm-hmm. Let's see. As YouTuber Drunk Virgin 3PO points out in the video above, the leak does have some veracity to it. In the lead up to the prequel film, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars and Lucasfilm released the soundtrack for the film that included a song titled The Death of Qui-Gon. Liam Neeson's Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn would die, spoilers, at the hands of Darth Maul in the film. I'll look back at the legendary Ralph McClory's original illustration of a TIE fighter pilot during the pursuit of the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Ralph, have you ever looked at Ralph McClory's art, Jack Arquiz?
No.
He's the guy who did all the concept art for Star Wars back in the day. Vader pretty much looks exactly like he does. The Stormtroopers look like he does because of Ralph McQuarrie's concept art.
Okay, so he's a concept artist. Got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the look of the Death Star, the look of the Stormtroopers, their blasters, Luke's getup and sort of like the desert, almost sort of like Japanese gi wrap, like with the fold in the belt and everything. That's all right out of Ralph McQuarrie's concept art for the film. It's great stuff to look at. Adding to this alleged leak from Jedi Master 87 is what appears to be a Facebook ad from Lego. As reported by Disney, Star Wars is dumb.
Yeah, that's a Twitter account. I know that one.
Oh, fuck. That's the best name I've come across so far in this story.
Mm-hmm. It's better than like Jedi Master 7382.
Order 66 in his world is to get booty.
Jesus. As reported by Disney, Star Wars is dumb, the ad shows Lando Calrissian piloting the Millennium Falcon on a suicide mission against what looks like Kylo Ren's First Order ship. Calrissian flies the Falcon directly into the oncoming enemy ship, and they both explode into Lego bricks. It's a scene very reminiscent of The Last Jedi, where Admiral Oldho hyperspace kamikaze attacks Snoke's First Order flagship. Okay. I think anybody can. That was supposed to be a big dramatic moment in that film. The only thing I walked away from is, hey, that sound effect where she runs into those ships is cool.
That was the sound of feminism dying.
Actually, here's a little inside baseball for you. If you go watch, if you happen to watch the episode where Weebo Jones and I count down the top 10 hottest women in the MCU according to me, and then she sits there and judges my taste.
Yes.
When what's her name, Natalie Portman comes up, I start talking about how fake her teeth look and how fake her personality looks and comes across and everything. And I put up a picture of her and her teeth gleam, and you hear this whoosh noise as this gleam I animated comes off of her teeth. That noise is actually the sound that I captured from The Last Jedi, where Admiral Oldho crashes her ship into the First Order ships. That was Zelthor's idea. He's like, you know what's a cool noise? You should grab this. And I went and grabbed the scene off of YouTube, and yeah, that's the noise that you when her teeth shine. A little inside baseball for you. However, Drunk 3PO does not believe the Millennium Falcon will be destroyed. He states, I'm a virgin and I know better. The reason why I do not feel they are not going to destroy the Falcon in episode IX, in episode 9, is because it belongs in the Galaxy's Edge. They have the Falcon in Galaxy's Edge. They have Chewie in Galaxy's Edge. He continues, Galaxy's Edge is supposed... Geez, are you paid by them? He continues, Galaxy's Edge is supposed to be the place in Batuu, is supposed to be in episode 9. So, I don't think they're going to destroy the Falcon just so you are going to see it in Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is supposed to be an extension of the Star Wars universe. It's going to be
If
there.
he says Galaxy's Edge one more time, he's totally paid by Disney.
And it's going to be there. You pilot the Falcon there in Galaxy's Edge. I'm kidding. The last one wasn't there.
Aw. Got my hopes up.
Drunk 3PO adds, it would be rather foolish for them to destroy the Falcon in the last film and have it in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, but would you put it past them to do that?
No.
No.
I wouldn't. I destroy it, and then they probably paid a one-time licensing fee to Lucas, so he might that for its use in Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
And so why not have it there and blow it up at the same time? See, because these people are hacks, you understand. And
Yes.
what hacks often do with an inability to reach humans in terms of storytelling and meaning, they often just kill people and blow things up, and that's what they put in place of emotion. So they'll kill off Han Solo and be like, there, people will feel things, you know. They make Luke Skywalker fade away, presumably in death, because then we don't have to create actual conflict. People will feel things because he's dead, because they're hacks. That's the best they can do.
Yep. Yeah, I think they're going to kill all the Lucas characters off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. We were joking about that before we went live. That they're going to whack out C-3PO. They're going to blow up R2-D2. Lando Calrissian's going to be on like grab a grenade and suicide vest someone. I mean, who else is left? Salacious Crumb, I think his head's going to pop up and he's going to do that laugh that he does, and someone's going to like blow his head off like instantly.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Probably.
who else is left?
Chewie's gonna like jump on top of a thermal detonator to save Lando.
You know what would be better? To create more emotion? Chewie's often working with trying to fix the Falcon in the moment of danger when they're trying to escape, and he's usually got the little mini welder out like he had in Empire. Yeah, he should be working like that, and a stray spark, it lights him on fire, and he runs away as a screaming torch.
All the Ewoks are killed.
You don't like Chewie, do you?
No, I'm just you admit it'd be funny. You'd laugh.
Oh yes, I would.
With his hands above his head going as he runs away as a flaming ball of death. And then runs into a bulkhead of the Millennium Falcon and just falls down unconscious.
Clang.
Yeah. While Yakety Sax plays. Oh shit. Leia's already dead. Well, Jesse Green, I think they might go find her gravesite just to, blow it up.
Urinate on it.
Yeah. Have a little party on top, something. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the last movie ended with her alive, and they have to whack out every single Star Wars character from the original series. So I think there's going to be some reference to an incredibly horrific death. They're going to be sitting there talking, and I'll be like, remember when that support beam fell down and beheaded Princess Leia for no reason in that totally unceremonious, meaningless death? Yeah, I remember that. That was horrible and awful. That all the children were standing there watching, and the fact that her head rolled up to their feet made it even worse.
And then that Christian actor comes over and kills them all, just like in Rise of the Sith.
Christian actor come. Oh,
yeah,
Christian.
The guy that played Anakin.
Quiz.
I don't fucking know his name either.
Ewan McGregor.
No, Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Anakin Skywalker.
I keep wanting to say Christian Stale, but that's not who it is. The other guy.
No, was the kid?
No, as an adult.
Oh, fuck!
Hayden Christensen.
There you go,
Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
There he is.
See, you
I wanted to say Matt Christensen, and I knew that wasn't right. That's the guy from Beauty and the Beta.
Thanks, Tips.
That's my Sunday night entertainment, damn it.
Okay. Now they were done with the stairwares. Hold on, let me.
No, I think we're all in agreement they're going to kill off the Lucas characters so that they can continue to ruin Star Wars in greater fashion.
I agree.
Yes.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. Hating Christensen, idiots.
Well, geez, couldn't remember.
He's not wrong.
Wow, he's not wrong that it's Hayden Christensen. I don't know about the idiots part though.
No, that's the part he's right on.
Yeah.
Edit somebody. Doctor, I can't remember. I think it was Doctor No. A video about how big is the Enterprise D really? Like if you go hyper nerd on it and track out the amount of floor space it has in like square feet. Well, actually, he uses square meters because they're in the future and use the metric system.
Yeah.
Just how much space is there on the next generation Enterprise, the Enterprise D? A lot is the answer. When you track it out as he did, it's like, yeah, that ship is immense and it's ridiculous that there's only 1,000 people on board. Like to the point where most likely you'd walk down corridors for several minutes before ever encountering one person if everyone was evenly spread out over the quarters decks.
If you look at the actual size of the Enterprise in comparison to like almost every other sci-fi, it you can see why it would only house 1,000 people. In terms of actual floor space involved on the Enterprise, it's a tiny ship.
Here's the thing.
Almost every other, sci-fi spaceships have crews in the tens of thousands.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Like, is it tiny floor space? Well, the point is does it have tiny floor space relative to its 1,000 person crew complement? And the answer is it's ridiculously oversized to only have 1,000 people on it. Yes, well, I know there's giant planet-sized ships in 40K, but that's not what we're talking about.
40K isn't even the biggest. They don't even go full retard. There's several others that go even bigger. Like the Lex is bigger than 40K ships. But and that only has a crew of I think like 5 people. But no, the Enterprise. I thought the Enterprise only had like a crew complement of like 300 people. It's just that the 1,000 is from like all of the crew's family and all of the scientist attaches and so on and so forth.
Well, you actually make a good point. They don't make that kind of distinction in terms of they just say like over 1,000 people on board at one point, and in another episode of TNG they say data rattles off how many people are, and there's like 1,351 people on board, but they're not talking. Like you said, like there's families on board, which is absolutely insane for the flagship of the Federation. But whatever,
Well, they're explorers, not soldiers.
Yeah, but they're also part of an expeditionary force that are constantly encountering Romulans who want to blow them up.
Yeah.
So let's bring our kids.
Okay, I don't really care about this conversation, so I'm going to address something straight Sith Mel said.
Okay.
He asked if we saw Freddie Prinze Jr. freaking out on Star Wars fans. I didn't read it, but I was wondering if you guys did.
Freddie Prinze Jr. exists?
Yes. I think he's divorcing Buffy.
After I think 2011, I thought he fell into a black hole for how much exposure he had. So,
he was on 24.
Yeah.
It was. I thought he did pretty good in the Scooby-Doo movies.
I see. It was just what blackmail photographs did this guy have to get on 24? That guy? That's who? Really? I mean, and Jack Gunsky says Star Trek is for commies. Man, that's an old meme. It's been thoroughly disproven by me to not be true. They're not communists in space. It's an old joke.
No, that's the Tau. And yet another reason why they need to be annihilated.
I thought the Tau were weeaboos in space.
They're both.
Oh.
They're communist weeaboos.
That's terrifying. Do they have furries that are teamed up with them?
Yes, actually.
Oh, my God. They've already infected 40K.
Well, there's a reason why they're an enemy. I'm perfectly fine with killing them.
Let's see. Get this stupid fucking story out of the way. There it is. Report. Scarlett Johansson teases Black Widow solo film sequels. In other words, please hire me for more. I'm getting older.
Right? She's got the Downsy eggs brewing.
A new report details that Scarlett Johansson teased Black Widow solo film sequel at Elle's Women in Hollywood event. Okay.
The fuck is L's Women in Hollywood?
Elle is a women's magazine online deal, and Women in Hollywood. I'm sure you can imagine what the hell that's about. I know.
L spelled E-L-L-E?
Yes.
Or just the letter L?
No. ELLE.
Okay.
New York Times reporter, so quality, Kyle Buchanan reported that Johansson took the stage at an event and referred to Black Widow as a standalone franchise, she said hopefully. Buchanan wrote on Twitter, ScarJo notes that the upcoming Black Widow is the first Marvel movie produced by one of its actors. She also referred to it as a standalone franchise, which is interesting. Which is interested if you expected it to be a one-off based on
What?
That's what you wrote. Which is interested. I think you meant to write interesting. If you expected it to be a one-off based on, based on Black Widow. Why did you just say that?
I think Kyle Buchanan might have some brain damage.
Kyle Buchanan needs to get more honest. The only reason that Scarlett Johansson, and I would be willing to put down, solid currency, American greenbacks at 20 on this as a bet, that that was part of her negotiation. This is the only Marvel film that's been produced by one of its actors. She's referring to her. She's a producer, right? How did that happen? Well, because part of the negotiation. Everybody else from the original Avengers films is gone, except for that fucking hack, Ruffalo, and nobody gives a fuck about that guy. He thinks he has star power. He's a washed-up communist loser that rants on Twitter about bullshit he doesn't understand. Nobody wants to make a movie out of that guy, because no one would go see a movie starring that fucking moron. Scarlett Johansson knows she's got the only drawing power left of the original team. And she does. Scarlett Johansson has huge drawing power to box offices. Yeah. So she's like, well, if you want me in this film, you're going to have to pay me a fuck ton of money, obviously, and give me a producer credit because I want to be able to make creative calls on the direction the story's going to go and script changes and stuff like that. And you can only do that if you're a producer. And the whole reason she's talking about it is because it's an L Women in Hollywood. And she wanted to talk about, I'm not just there to be a pretty face and display my moneymaker.
Yeah, because she's not very pretty, and her moneymakers are thunder thighs.
I'm okay with her thunder, and I don't think they're that thunderous. I think they're thick, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, rippling with crowded cheese fields.
Ew.
Yeah,
no, she's her. It's obviously her butt that's the moneymaker. Come on.
That's what I was referring to.
Which is also rippling with cottage cheese.
God damn it, Jack!
It's all saggy and filled with I don't know, the remnants of whatever baby fat that the kid left behind when she squirted it out.
Ew.
You're welcome. What do you think of that next time you're looking at pictures of her naked?
Ugh. Yeah, well, there she is, standing up at the glass podium or plastic podium at her L Women in Hollywood. Really? They actually need teleprompter screens for these morons? You can't remember what you're going to say for 30 seconds? It's an L Women in Hollywood. I, as a proud woman, when women in female kind with women in Hollywood power empowerment women. I mean, what the fuck? You really need a fucking teleprompter to tell you to read those things? Just riff it.
No, they need the teleprompter, Polly, because they're retarded.
You know how much she probably got fucking paid to show up at this garbage thing? It's
entirely too much because they're retarded.
Let me take a wild fucking guess. She's doing a photo opportunity thing for Elle related to the release of this movie. I mean, access media is all there's left in media anymore. Every shill, we've got to stop calling them shill sites. They're all shill sites.
Yes.
Ellen, women in Hollywood, because we'll get Scarlett Johansson. How'd you get her there? Do you think highly of your magazine? No, we're promoting her new movie, and she stood up there to promote her new movie. Jesus. Becoming as cynical as Jack. Things are going wrong. Wrong, I say.
Or going absolutely correctly.
What's this Infinity War thing? Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that later. Oh, hey, look at this. Virtue signaling. Superman smashes the Klan, #1. Review. A historic Superman adventure resonates through time. Superman's going to smash the Klan, yo. Superman.
He
That
already
was
has.
I know.
much more pertinent in the 30s.
Yeah. I mean, when was it originally done?
I think it was in the 20s or 30s.
So here it is.
I'm sure the article tells.
Yeah. Superman Smashes the Klan is one of the most anticipated releases from DC's upcoming... No, it's not. I hate how they say that. Fan favorite Miss Marvel, who burst onto the scene to massive popularity. And it's like, that's not even close to being true, you fuckers.
Yeah. I would say they need to push their lifestyle brand. So, it's the sort of thing. So I just... These people are scum. They need to
you
stop.
seem to be grasping for words there, and that's what you came up with.
They need to stop because their attempts to be edgy, their attempts to be insightful and progressive are falling far short simply because they are creatively bankrupt. I mean, the fact that you're using the Klan, right? Everyone knows they're villains. The Klan's population has been in rapid decline since the 80s. We're talking like extreme rapid decline. There's a grand total of maybe 50 members nationwide. It's
around there, I would guess.
They're the boogeyman to these people because they overstate their importance. You know how you make the Klan go away?
Ignore them.
Have them be a footnote in history.
Yeah.
You don't forget about them because we need to keep it alive so that the history doesn't repeat itself. That's the adage, right? No, how you do it is you make them insignificant, and they already are. So when you're sitting here giving them more and more power by making them the boogeyman, that's giving them a mystique that they already have lost. You're giving something back to them. Why?
Well, see, the thing is, the Klan was already mocked on the Superman radio drama that they're now adapting. And that actually crushed a lot of the Klan members because somebody got a hold of a code book for the Klan, and they gave it to the radio writers, and they turned it into a drama. They didn't call them the Klan; they called them something else. But they incorporated all the goofy names like Grand Cyclops and all that from the Klan. And members were quitting because they were like, look, I can't be a party to this. My kid idolizes Superman and he's beating the crap out of us and makes us look dumb. And that's why seriously, there's an entire book on this. And it's actually really funny the way they did it. But Superman did help defeat the Klan back in the day.
So that's what they're doing today. They're going to get Spider-Man to fight on side of Antifa. And Spider-Man...
That would not surprise me. But they will do it so poorly.
Well, of course they will. They're hacks. Superman Smashes the Klan is one of the most anticipated, says us here at comicbook.com. From DC's burgeoning line of superhero stories targeted at young readers. Will indoctrinate them yet, by God. Teaming acclaimed writer Zheng Luing Yang from American Born Chinese with dynamic Japanese illustration team known as Goody Hito. This 3-issue series updates one of Superman's earliest and most memorable adventures for the 21st century. Superman...
Why'd you say it like that?
What? Like what?
Goody Hito.
What did I just say?
You were like, Goody Hito!
It was more dramatic that way.
You're not internet historian.
No, he's Medicare, remember?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Let's see. Superman Smashes the Klan introduced the reader's same premise, originally debuted on the radio show in the serial Clan of the Fiery Cross, a story that exposed secrets of the real Ku Klux Klan as Superman combated a facsimile to protect a family of Chinese Americans. It bears the aesthetic of the period piece, but Yang and Gorihiro tap into powerful themes of immigration, bigotry, and positive justice to transform this classic tale into a timeless one. Oh, so he fights Trump. Interesting. The narrative falls into Yang's wheelhouse so naturally that you would easily believe he crafted this narrative without any historical influence. Addressing Chinese culture, the immigrant experience, and cultural barriers is something the writer has done as well as anyone else working in comics in current year. That experience shines through as the story addresses difficult subject matter with nuance and frames it in a manner that is accessible to all ages. Superman Smashes the Klan is well suited to young readers, but it does not simplify the issues or pull any punches. Derogatory language, Klan outfits, and burning crosses are all plainly addressed on the page. In the hands of a lesser writer, this could go disastrously awry, but in Yang's hands, it provides a thoroughly considered foundation for adults and children alike to consider America's history with hate and modern tensions.
A minute ago, I threw a link to the book that was written about this, and that's going to be a much more fascinating read than this trash.
I mean, the art didn't look necessarily that bad. It's not like, Tumblr tier Marvel art. But putting a book like this out now, instead of like, say, 10 years ago. Because, I mean, Jack, just to fact check me here, when was the original radio play put out?
It's in like the 30s.
Okay, so the 30s. Superman wasn't a thing until the 40s.
What about 39 or 40?
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, so
Hold on, I'll look it up.
It's if this was done at literally any other time period, I could get behind this project. But the fact that these sorts of people that are writing this stupid article and are the glowing bullshit, the smoke that they're blowing up his ass about it is entirely indicative of you're saying things without saying things. We all know why you want this book to do well. We all know why you want this to be, and it's not because it's a good story. It's because you think that there are white supremacists still to fight.
Yeah, it was 1946. My bad.
Okay, 46. Well, let's see what comicbook.com goes on to say in their rather purple prose description here. This issue, never start a sentence with this. Okay, anyway. This issue provides a delicate approach to characters and subject matter. Racism is not presented as an easily understood issue defined by mustache-twirling villains. There are degrees presented in both children and adults. There's gonna be, unconscious bias all over the place. And it'll be called out by this last son of Krypton. Casual, unintentional racist comments, I got it, are made by a young girl at one point, making it clear
racism.
Making it clear that these issues are far more pervasive than what is presented by a well-organized hate group. That's right, white people. You're evil all the time. Think you are or not. No, but remember that. Remember that. The diversity of perspectives and conflicts makes Superman Smashes the Klan an excellent tool for teaching. You mean indoctrinating it. Going for it. While the script avoids the harshest racial slurs, I'm sure it does, it presents enough language and imagery to make readers uncomfortable or laugh out loud.
They said in a previous paragraph that it didn't pull any punches with the racial epithets.
Well, it says it avoids the harshest of them. So, Sinatra won't have much fun with it. A kidnapping feels more frightening.
You said it, not me, Sinatra. He's in chat, by the way.
I know he's in chat. What do you think I was poking fun at? I see him busting my balls over there. I'm having fun with it. A kidnapping feels far more frightening than any nefarious plot involving a doomsday device that Superman might otherwise encounter. This nuanced. That's the second
Polly!
time you've said that.
Polly.
Yeah.
Sinatra asked me to interrupt you.
Wow. That's nice.
I threw a link to the original radio play, part 1, in the chat.
Look at Jack being all informative.
This nuanced framing is balanced by goody hitters, confident line work. There's nothing delicate about the visual presentation of this story. Characters are assuredly themselves, and every action beat is boldly delivered. Their style has been primarily tied to comics for young readers, but there is a maturity in the storytelling. Every page is well composed, and characters and reactions are delivered with incredible efficiency, only to use a few lines to convey complex emotions. Jesus Christ! Tell me this isn't Access Media! What a fucking puff piece!
Yeah, I was gonna say he's just fucking giving the author the artist a reach around at this point.
Yeah, this is reach around. This is like a anal tonguing with compliments.
Yeah, he's tongue punching his fart box.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for that most of the time. I mean,
that's still my favorite euphemism.
It is a story tied to the past, but very much about the presented. It actually says that. That's
presented.
Yeah. It is a
terrible writer,
but it's very much about the presented, updated to focus on divisions in communities and the perpetuation of hateful ideologies that resonate between 1946 and 2019. Like, I can see where you're going with this, you bunch of... Ugh.
It's transparent as fuck. How long is it going to take to an Orange Man bad thing? I hate this kind of thing. I hate it.
Yeah.
All right. I did not vote for Trump. I didn't. I don't like him. Why do these lunatics try to claim to speak for me?
It's only going to get worse. Sinatra asks, not me, but I'll answer anyway. Why does everything have to be a race issue? Because they're paid to. They're professional race hustlers and shit disturbers and anxiety pimps, like meaning pimping and using and hustling off of people's anxieties. It's like, oh, there's a community over there, and maybe people are racist over there. Maybe people don't like me. Am I being racist? People gotta have those concerns, right? They don't want to be hateful, the extreme majority of people, so they're concerned about these things. So let's do what CNN and MSNBC do and stir the pot as much as possible and capitalize off of it, because we need to get paid too, right? And once you've established a career of pointing out everything being racist, bigoted, sexist, Islamophobic, it's not like you can go back to anything substantial after that. You kind of have to keep going.
Sinatra once in.
What? You told me I was... No. You don't want to talk to a dead man. You already talked to Ghastly. Why? How many dead people you want in your life?
I like Sinatra. I think he's funny.
Well, yeah, but
just you're dead,
he's not a necromancer. He doesn't need to talk any more dead people. It's fine.
Well, he can talk to me in quiz.
It's Quiz's prospects that are dead, not him. It's different.
My prospects?
For the future.
Prospects for what?
You've never heard that your prospects are dead?
God, that's dark.
Well, it was intended as a joke. Jesus Christ, you guys. My prospects. What does that mean?
Well, if you think this article made you mad, wait till you read that other Star Wars.
Hey, man, I'm still yet to find my gold. I'm confident that I'm going to get some. All right?
Oh, as in a prospector. I see what you did there. Okay, so let's go over to this Deseret News thing. I'm curious as to what's going on here. Jack's got my interest.
Yeah, he's very insistent that we talk about this one. So
let's do so. This writer wants to cancel Star Wars Stormtrooper costume. Is it time to end the Stormtrooper costume? Well, let's find out what Herb Scribner says.
Herb Scribner.
Yes. A writer for Fatherly, assuming that's a publication of some sort, recently opined that he thinks it's time to cancel the kids' Star Wars Stormtrooper costume. Several children across the country will dress up for Halloween at the Empire's Legion of Stormtrooper or the First Order's collection of soldiers. But according to fatherly writer Ryan Britt via Yahoo, so he's totally up to date, this could have negative consequences because of the political history of the Stormtrooper. Quote, this fact is a little bit scary, mostly because, collectively, it's like the culture doesn't want to think about this fact. But we should. Having kids dress up as Star Wars Stormtroopers for Halloweens is icky, mostly because Stormtroopers have horrific counterparts, both in history and in everyday headlines.
We need to point out that the author actually said it's icky. Polly didn't insert that.
Yeah, it literally does say icky. Yeah, I'm not going to insert anything into this because it seems like it's its own entertainment.
Yeah.
Britt explains that the term, explains the term Stormtrooper refers to specific German soldiers in World War I. In World War II, the term became associated with Sturmballengach, or Storm Detachment. George Lucas modeled his Stormtroopers after those real-life figures. It makes more sense for children to dress up as Kylo Ren, who is a villain and a monster, much like Dr. Frankenstein's monster, or Dracula. An undead creature of the night who's made a pact with Satan?
So Dr. Mengele is okay, but you can't be a stormtrooper.
Well, let's
damn right.
What Ryan Britt has to say here. Quote, having kids dress up as monsters on Halloween is kind of what Halloween is all about, Britt wrote. But having kids dress up as thinly veiled police state executioners is something else. The fantasy element to Stormtroopers isn't really all that fun. If anything, their presence in Star Wars is the scariest thing about the entire franchise. I happen to believe that, for the most part, Star Wars is a fairly anti-gun series of films.
What?
Hang on. I would like to point out that
several gun-like weapons are brandished all the time. Overall, the message of these films is against gun violence instead of glorifying it.
Wait. We gotta point something out. He said it's okay to dress up like monsters, but it's not okay to dress up like stormtroopers. So stormtroopers to him are not monsters.
That is a good distinction. Yeah. So what exactly were Nazi soldiers? They're not monsters?
That's what I'm saying. He's saying that Nazis are not monsters. There's something different.
I'm still trying to grasp where the anti-gun angle spun in.
I don't know. There's guns all over the place. Like, everybody has a gun.
Like, that took a hard right I wasn't expecting, man.
Even Han Solo shot first.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah, there were guns literally every main character except Obi-Wan Kenobi had a gun.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Didn't Obi-Wan even have a gun in the prequels? Some of the prequels?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're only $68 away from Horsecock, so donate generously, and we'll get there. And of course, we can't have Sinatra on until Horsecock plays. So, yeah.
What?
Oh God!
What? It's this new idea I came up with. See, what I'm going to do is I got this song. It's called Horsecock, and whenever people donate up to a certain amount, I'll play this song. And I'm going to do this in tandem with a picture that nobody likes. I'm going to put up on screen. And every time somebody donates, I'm going to gradually make the picture smaller and smaller. These are the innovations that I've come up with for the channel.
Holly, first of all, don't lie to people and say that you have a copy of Horsecock. We all know you don't. So you're just trying to trick people into giving you money then.
Well, Velcor is in the chat, so, you can always just get it from him.
And then we're going to institute the Stream Boss thing quite quickly as well for donations. Because, again, I like all original, entirely my own innovations for this channel, related to no other channels.
Yeah,
we got to get back to this.
Okay.
Complete innovations. No one's ever done this before.
Never. But that's the end of it.
I know, but the article made me angry.
We can't stop busting this guy's balls. We got to get right back to it.
Well, it made me mad that he's like, how is Star Wars anti-gun? That's what I was curious about.
Not only that, it couldn't get even like any more pro-gun. There's a gun that blows up a planet.
That's true.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's actually a
BG
good point. It doesn't get more gunny than that, does it?
BG made a good point that notice the only Star Wars hero that doesn't have a gun ended up dead.
Yeah,
That's Obi-Wan.
yeah, it's a good point.
And
Actually, there's a specifically pro-gun message in Star Wars. In A New Hope, Han Solo's watching Luke Skywalker praying around with a lightsaber, and he says, "Trust me, kid. Ancient weapons and hokey religions are no match for a good blaster at your side."
yeah.
Like he said,
They even gave the dog a gun because Chewbacca had that big fucking bowcaster. They're
Everyone's
like,
got
here
guns.
you go, Fido, load up.
And he's telling them to put away future weapons or ancient weapons and get a normal get a gun, kid. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Gun, fight war like a fucking man.
Ryan Walters makes an interesting comparison I had not thought of. Stormtroopers were clearly the police engaging in door-to-door buyback program.
Yeah.
So I just went over to Twitter. You know what I forgot to do?
What?
Send the tweet out.
Tweet out?
Yeah, it's done and finished with the thumbnail on it and everything. I just didn't press tweet.
I threw a thing out, but because I noticed that earlier.
Well,
You're
we're still
professional?
well, yeah. I'll take the blame for this one. It's my fault. Go ahead, tweet. I mean, we're still live. I can tweet it out. It's fine. Just people are going to be wondering where the Star Wars stories are at because we just kind of finished them. It's okay. They can go back and check it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Whatever sends. God damn it, Twitter's slow.
Twitter's just awful.
Does everyone hate the interface as much as I do? I haven't complained about it.
Everybody fucking hates the Twitter interface.
Speaking of Twitter, by the way, since this is a fairly good segue, do you want me to go into my escapades with Best Superman?
Oh yes. Tell the best Superman.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there was a fairly interesting thing that happened on Twitter. I'm gaining a little bit of traction with a tweet that I put out, but okay, for those, I'll explain a little bit in case you are unaware of these celebrities. I know I've bleated on about how much I despise and loathe celebrity, but Julia Louise-Dreyfus, people know who she is. She's Elaine in Seinfeld.
It's actually Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but I think we should call her Julia Louise-Dreyfus from now on. I like that better.
I'm okay with that. I don't more care.
it's better. Let's roll with that.
Yeah.
So what did Julia Louise say?
She said women don't have equal rights in the US Constitution. That's insane. If we can just flip 4 seats in Virginia, we can finally ratify the Equal Rights Amendment in the US Constitution. Go to impactslates.com to donate in 1 click at Impact Slates. So obviously she's, doing a fucking lobbying sort of, thing. Well, the best Superman, Dean Cain, responds to her, or quote tweets her and says, "I'm confused. Please educate me. What rights do men have under the Constitution that women do not enjoy?" Then I said, "Careful, Dean. Simply asking the question may axe your character from ever appearing again on Supergirl. Not that show has been worth a damn since season 1. Now, here's the interesting bit, okay? I'll get into the metrics here in a bit. Dean Cain responded to me and said, "No fear." And then I responded to that saying, "My man, that's why you'll always be best Superman." Now, here's the thing. Dean Cain's original tweet there, the one where he says, "I'm confused, please educate me," has 35.2 thousand likes, 8,000 retweets, and 5.2 thousand responses. Now, I've gone through most of the list here, trying to see if I can find anything. He's responded to what's her name? Christy Swanson, who's a verified checkmark and whatever. But I can't find almost anyone else he's responded to. Everyone else has like a single tweet and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere. No responses to their response to him. So I thought it's kind of novelty that he responded to me, and I just thought I'd share that because I thought that was a fairly interesting interaction that I had.
Oh yeah,
And it's
better
related
than
to comic.
when I got suspended for 12 hours for talking to some celebrity.
I mean,
And Sinatra
probably deserved it.
Well, he's calling out commies, so it's he's fighting the good fight.
It's against the Twitter rules to be mean to fucking shitbags.
Right?
The thing we were trying to figure out, nobody clicked on it, right? Is it Louise Dreyfus?
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Julia Louise.
Luis
says, click on this thing to support this thing, and it's like, what is it? Is it funding specific candidates? Is it funding the DNC generally? It's just like it's so Twitter hacked or slacktivist. Just do the minimum you can. Click here to do thing. You know what I mean?
It's funding Julia Louise Dreyfus directly on Twitter.
It very well might be. After Veep or whatever that fucking half-ass show she was doing was. Is that still going? Is that show canceled? I don't even know.
I don't know.
We're all straight. Why would any of us know?
I don't have cable TV, so I don't know.
But in any case.
I do, and I don't watch it.
Do any of you guys pay for cable anymore?
No.
The smallest package is for news channels and shit of the kind and like. That's it, though.
You heard it here. Polly pays for small packages.
Well, you know how many different
area?
options there are through my provider? It's fucking nuts.
Do you not live in an area where you can just get it over the air?
Oh, you mean like basic cable?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can. But I mean, like, not the HD. I mean, you still doing standard, man? Shit.
Yeah, I have a fucking TV in my kitchen with rabbit ears on it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So I'm at get this. This is why I find that surprising. Because I asked this guy, what microphone are you using? And he hits me up. It's the Shure model SM, I forget the rest of it.
7B.
7B. Because Sinatra's voice is pretty solid, like with his mic, right? And he says, "Oh, I'm using the same one that
Rogan.
I was about to say bald-headed pothead. That guy. He uses.
Yeah, both, it's fairly synonymous.
And I'm like, those guys all sound awesome. You never hear thump 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 or anything of that kind. You never hear them blow P's or semblances. I'm like, and Sinatra's using that mic. Shit, what mic is that? I go look it up. Cheapest I could find it for was $375. And this guy's running rabbit ears on a TV in his kitchen.
Well, because I don't want to pay for cable. I get my basic local news station for the 25 minutes a day I watch it.
Holly,
Okay,
I think you just found out why he has both of those things.
Exactly. I pay for my internet. It's like $100 a month.
Right.
And they keep trying to upgrade me to some cable package for like $220. It's like, I don't fucking want cable. I just want the internet.
Right. Well, I mean, I spend most of my time grabbing stuff from online and downloading it from perfectly legitimate sources.
Yes,
Yeah,
perfectly
absolutely legitimate sailing sources. That's where I get most of my stuff. And plus Netflix and Hulu combined, it's like $20 and it's everything that's on TV.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have TV anymore. Not really.
No. And I agree with, Sticks, Hex, and a Hammer will go off on this about the legacy media, but it's not going to die nearly as quickly as he predicts. I wish he would stop talking about it as if its demise is right around the corner. They hold on like nobody's fucking business. I mean, you don't see Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hosting candidate debates, but you do see ABC and NBC hosting them, and it's going to be that way for the next 25 years at least. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think he's wrong. I think they are downscaling, and YouTube is trying to become a network television channel of the kind and so forth, and eventually they will die off. But come on, man, it's not going to be next week. That's wishful thinking.
That's why I don't really buy into the get woke, go broke thing anymore, because nobody's going broke, period.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's definitely a proof to the no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
yeah,
everyone
these
was like,
people-
Gillette's gonna go out of business. Fucking didn't.
Yeah,
They're like, this movie will end Disney. Captain Marvel will be the downfall. No. Do you think just because they didn't make $200 million on a movie, they're gonna go out of business? What are you, fucking nuts?
Well,
Yeah.
there's the other thing. You were talking on it was on Tucker Wednesday actually this week. Well, China and the NBA pandering to them and so forth. What's that?
That was Tuesday.
Oh, really? That wasn't on the second half you did on Wednesday?
I didn't do a second half Wednesday.
Well, when was that? You did a
Last-
delay. You did a delayed Tucker, didn't you?
Yeah, because I had issues 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that was too. I drink anyway. The the point is the discussion came up. It really doesn't matter how angry people get on English language Twitter and English language social media about they're abandoning us, Blizzard, appealing to the Chinese market, especially for superhero movies, and that's how it relates back to comics and the like. If they can get 0.00001% of the Chinese market, that just outclass the entirety of you and your angry group size.
Oh yeah.
So is it worth pissing you guys off to pander to the commies?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing though, is to pander to China, you have to go directly against the LGBT community, because you can't have any at all gay characters in China. They don't want that anywhere in their media. So that's why they have what's it called, the no ghosts, no gays rule in China. And if there's anything ghostly or gaily in China, it has to be edited out of the whole fucking movie.
So, how do they feel about Muslim internment camps?
I'm pretty sure they're pro that. I'm pretty
I
sure
was
most
thinking
of us
so.
are pro that.
I think they're perfectly fine with that because that gives them organs.
Yep.
Did you see the fuck, what was it? It was either Chinese or Japanese dirty knees. Look at these. They were injecting blood from young kids into adults to see if they'll live longer.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
I would not at all be surprised if that was some sort of like, Eastern traditional medicine.
No, they were doing the experiment with lab mice, and they were draining the blood from the young lab mice and injecting it into older lab mice, and it extended their lives.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I think I heard about that. Yeah, and they like it actually was semi-successful in the mice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to vampire the blood out of children.
See,
you can
this
Every day they prove Alex Jones right.
this relates to comics because that sounds like the kind of thing that would only happen in a supervillain's lair in a comic book. Jesus Christ.
I know.
They're draining the children to make the Communist Party's senior members live longer.
But no, to get back to a minute ago when I said this in chat, why is everything a race issue anymore? Why can't we just go back to movies where you blow stuff up just for the fuck of it? Superheroes, why the fuck did Hulk and Wolverine fight?
Because he showed up.
Yeah, just because.
Hulk was wrecking shit and Wolverine was hired to stop him.
It was just this, no fucking reason. It was just this whole series of, okay.
Look at the
Why don't we have that anymore?
They did. Well, I'll tell you why. They did it, and it was successful. But look at the backlash from Rambo. And it wasn't even about that he was fighting cartels as the big deal. It was that it was so toxically masculine, so out of time, such an 80s throwback. That's what everyone kept saying. The violent response, like the critics were saying. The audiences loved it, and they thought it was great because it's a Rambo action movie, so he's doing what Rambo does. But the critics are like, oh, I don't know. This offends my soy-filled latte.
Well, dude, that's what people fucking want.
When have critics ever been in tune with what audiences actually like? You want more evidence of that? Just look at the fucking Rotten Tomatoes score on Joker.
There could hardly be another more germane example to comic book curation. Like, look at the reaction to Joker. I mean, we read it what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't fucking
Well,
remember.
you guys have all seen it.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't yet. I still haven't seen it.
Really?
No.
Polly.
I've been busy as fuck, guys. Jesus.
Jesus. Jacqueline the motherfucker Phoenix was amazing.
Yeah. Dare I say I thought he was even better than Heath Ledger.
Not even close. Heath Ledger got blown the fuck out.
Yeah.
Hey, Eve, what's going on? Well,
God.
do you want me to show you how things are going to get worse? Because you said, why does everything have to be about race? But it's not just race; it's race and gender, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it's going to get worse, and it's on the horizon. And here's how you know: Gina Davis unveils partnership with Disney to spell check scripts for gender bias.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wait do you hear this fascist nonsense?
it gets worse than you're like. I mean, this goes full 1984 in a very weird way. Okay.
Do you guys remember when Rudy Giuliani, back when he was the mayor of New York,
Mhm.
he gave some art museum a hard time about putting up their exhibits, and people were in the streets calling him a fascist for that.
Yeah.
Where have we gone?
Oh, wait till you hear this. This
Yeah.
goes way off the deep end.
When I say 84, I mean like full-blown Blade Runner dystopian future with this shit. During a closing keynote speech at the New Zealand Power of Inclusion Summit, the actress explained how a new digital tool will prevent film and television works from perpetuating underrepresentation and stereotypes and their pernicious real-world effects.
What?
Yes.
So, okay, just reread those last two sentences.
That was actually just one long sentence.
Of course it was.
During a closing keynote speech at the New Zealand Power of Inclusion Summit, the actress explained how a new digital tool will prevent film and television works from perpetuating underrepresentation and stereotypes and their pernicious real-world effects.
Okay, what? What real world effects?
I was going to say, yeah, those real world effects, like the society we live in that was wrecked by the Joker. Oh my God, the horror.
Wait till the last paragraph of this happen. The last line, it'll blow your mind. If you think like that real world, like what real world effects, wait till she talks about the positive outcomes of this thing that she predicts. It's great.
By the way, Quiz, I'm going to message you something. I have a theory about the Joker.
Sure.
So, central to Davis's presentation was the revelation that her Gina Davis Institute on Gender in Media has partnered with Walt Disney Studios to deploy a new digital tool that uses AI technology to assess film and television scripts for gender bias. Named GDIQ, spell check for bias, the new tool leverages...
GDIQ.
Correct.
You got to follow me back, Quiz.
Gender diversity
I thought it
IQ.
was.
Oh, that's a new thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just wait.
It leverages patented machine learning technology developed at the University of Southern California, shocker, School of Engineering, to rapidly analyze text of a script to determine the number of male and female characters and whether they are representative of the real population at large. The technology can also discern the numbers of characters who are people of color, LGBTQI, possess disabilities, or belong to other groups typically underrepresented and failed by Hollywood storytelling. Please tell me how the thing understands if a character is a character of color or if they're gay or have a disability.
Well, it would have to be brought up that it does. You
That's
know,
what
that-
you would
well,
have to
if you-
write in that.
Yeah.
Gay woman with one leg in a wheelchair who who's black enters the room. Like you would have to write it
check
out
all
to.
the,
But if you don't, your script's not going to pass.
That's right.
yeah, well,
So it's out. So
the-
you have to say it.
So we have. Okay,
This is a digital Bechdel test.
yeah, we have AI robots, not even real people, scanning scripts for stuff that isn't real.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
We're very proud to announce we have a brand new partnership with Walt Disney Studios using the spell check for bias. They have our pilot partners, and we're going to collaborate with Disney over the next year using this tool to help their decision making, identify opportunities to increase diversity and inclusion in the manuscripts they receive. We're very excited about the possibilities of this new technology, and we encourage everybody to get in touch and give it a try. Along with rapid tallying of genders and ethnicities of characters, Spellcheck for Bias can assess the number of speaking lines for the various groups that they have, the level of sophistication of the vocabulary they use, and the relative social status or position of power assigned to each of the characters by group.
I got nothing.
Just hold on. It actually gets better, if you can believe it. Davis says the goal is not to name and shame. You lie.
No, it's to censor so nobody has to get named and shamed.
But rather to reveal the unconscious bias that commonly manifests in the most well-meaning screenwriters' work. With the data in hand, informed adjustments can be made to the scripts so they don't perpetuate stereotypes and their pernicious real-world effects.
I want to know what these pernicious real-world effects are. That's
Evil
what I want to know.
thinking.
So she references the Davis Institute's mantra is, if girls see it, they can be it. The organization has commissioned numerous studies showing how on-screen representations influence real-world behavior of both women and men. One of the actress's favorite examples is the way a number of girls taking up competitive archery more than doubled shortly after the simultaneous release of The Hunger Games and Pixar's Brave in 2012. Davis herself took up archery as a hobby in the late 1990s and nearly later qualified to the U.S. Olympic archery team. Like, really? That's your example? So did these women, because it's like, if movies have that kind of effect on people, right? And media in general has that kind of effect on people, why isn't everybody a rampaging murderer? Why, when they watch a movie about promiscuous people, do they not all turn into sluts? Because you're saying it has that direct of an effect on people.
Yeah, no shit. You put two movies out back to back where a bow and arrow is used as the main thing. Yeah, people are going to go, hey, you know what? That looks pretty fun. I'll try that.
Yeah, I think I'll try some archery. Yeah.
Now, Sinatra and, well, wait a minute. All four of us here are gun owners. Now, think about this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking archery, and we could say a bow and arrow was designed to kill. The common criticism that's always laid at firearms, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was designed to kill, a weapon of war. Common criticism laid at firearms, okay? Et cetera, et cetera. But they've turned it into a competitive thing because firearms exist as a competitive thing. No, it was designed to kill and only that. But you don't want to say that about archery. Oh, well, what would be the argument then? Oh, it can't kill as fast? But think how many people it has killed. Think how dangerous it could be. You, Gina Davis, are playing around as a hobby in her own description with a weapon.
There are some people who think that the bow and arrow has existed for like 60,000 years. So, yeah.
My point being is that nobody, what was Katniss from the Hunger Games doing with her bow and arrow? Shooting at a bullseye? No, she was killing motherfuckers with it.
Look, Polly,
Did these young girls who took up archery go killing motherfuckers with it? Or did they turn to competition? I could use this kind of argument to say that a shoot 'em up film is going to make people want to get involved in IPSC firearm competition.
You know what it is we have no 30 round bow magazines. That's the issue.
Well, you say that, but there are such things as automatic crossbows.
Yeah. Further, the horse was domesticated before the bow was created, as I recall. And the horse was used in war because people would ride horses through crowds of people and beat them over the heads with sticks. So we need common sense horse control. No one should have an unlicensed
common sense horse cock control.
Yeah, well, that is an assault horse cock.
Jacob already beat you to it. He calls for common sense archery control. I love it. Okay, so here's
Bubba Hotep says need more sluts.
We need more promiscuous women in film to influence.
Yes.
No. Right?
Well, this is what she puts forth because this is the final paragraph where all this bullshit happens, okay? But here's my theory of change. Keeping in mind, this is her theory of change backed up by jack shit, okay? There's one category of gross gender inequality where underrepresentation of women can be fixed absolutely overnight, and it's on screen. The very next project somebody makes, the next movie, the next TV show, can be gender balanced. We can make this change happen very fast. In the time it takes to create a new show or film, we can present a whole new vision of the future. Yes, there are woefully few female CEOs in the world, but half of them can be female on screen immediately. How are we...
How did they...
But hold on. How are we possibly going to get the number of women and girls interested in STEM careers that we need for science and technology, engineering, and math? There can be droves of women in STEM careers on TV and movies, and then it will happen in real life. It will?
How are they going to make fucking Lifetime movies anymore? Every Lifetime movie is the same formula.
Sure.
Woman gets abused.
Yeah.
Woman goes through a redemption arc, gets revenge.
Now, wait a minute. That's an interesting point. If women can see it, they can be it. So if they watch Lifetime movies, you're trying to tell me that Lifetime is perpetuating domestic abuse, Gina Davis?
Well, we also need to get rid of Wives with Knives off of Investigation Discovery because that shit, that's wrong, man.
I think we should do that just for the virtue that it's a bad show.
Well, there's that.
See, I mean, this thing with Gina Davis runs deep. I don't know if anybody remembers, but the very first video I ever made for YouTube back in the day was about Bill Nye's gender fluidity thing on Bill Nye Saves the World. Remember that with the ice cream?
Oh, the ice cream, yeah.
Okay, it was about that and looking into
gender fluidity. That was about sexuality, right?
Right, but he went through a 3-stage thing. There's sexuality, there's gender, and then there's gender expression. And one is influenced by the other, and they all have fluidity to them according to the science.
Yeah, I got some of my gender fluid on Bill Nye's wife. In that video, I go into this the background of it because it amazed me that he was nominated for an Emmy Award for this. Fucking how? Well, let's take a look at the Emmy Awards committee who's making these decisions. Well, the woman who is the chairperson of it sits on the board of Gina Davis's Gender in Media group. And every single one of them on that awards committee was a donor to the Hillary Clinton campaign, all lifelong registered Democrats. What are they doing over at the Gender in Media campaign that was all hooked up and campaigned on behalf of Bill Nye's episode to be nominated and win an Emmy, of all things? And it didn't win one, it won two Emmys. Well, Gina Davis's foundation went and promoted and funded originally the Trust and Safety Council over at Google in partnership with Gina Davis's foundation. Guess who the Gina Davis Foundation recommended to Google to bring on board for their Trust and Safety Council?
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian. Because they had already been working with her. They were a partial funder to Feminist Frequency.
And now she's getting her tendrils into Disney, so you can look forward to more of your comics and movies having this nonsense in it.
All the way back to the beginning of what I said. It's going to get worse, not better, and this is how. Behind the scenes, this is the kind of stuff that's going on. There are anxiety pimps out there that just push these things. The Anita Sarkeesians don't care about successful endeavors. Oh, I didn't finish my stupid video project on women in history. It doesn't matter. What she does is hustle behind the scenes with Gina Davis and Google and Disney, and there's a million of these people out there doing this. Not a million, there's actually a small amount of them, but holy shit, do they ever stir the grievance pile a lot.
So I want to know. Did Gina Davis know about and donate to the Discord server? I'm just wondering. How many dollars did the Gina Davis Foundation go into making the Femme Freak podcast?
I mean, and there's no way to know. Can you imagine if you ever got a good look at some of these foundations documents as, you know, tax-free groups or as community aid groups? If you ever looked at what they actually spent their money on, I mean, remember, like you guys said, the $25,000 to start a fucking Discord, which, as we all know, is free. Can you imagine?
I never want to see that
unless you get Discord Nitro.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Well,
No,
Polly,
no,
I never
the
want to see
server.
that because I'm not sad.
And over on the
Real
Streamlabs, really quick, Pinkalo, thank you very much for the donation with no words. But if you haven't, go check out Blind Press's channel that Pinkalo helps out on greatly, and Pinkalo's own channel where there's all sorts of material up.
Two
I'm a
things.
fan.
First one, real quick. I'm screen sharing to you guys. Look at this. Do you know who this is?
No.
Jesus
No.
Christ, who is that?
It's Aaron fucking Carter.
Oh my God, the singer from the early
Yeah.
2000s? Oh, he looks like shit.
It's a crackhead, meth head looking Aaron Carter in a bathtub doing a stupid
No.
face and a thumbs up chat. You don't want to see it.
That's Aaron Carter. It's from his Twitter account.
Well, yeah. I'm just offering a description of this. Why did he put that up himself?
And with that caption,
What does it say?
blocking people is fun.
Lucky those people. Jeez.
And two, okay, let's play it out.
He's gonna have a lot more blocks.
Don't make me mute you, Sinatra.
No, just let's play it through.
Okay, I thought you were going. I heard "let's play it," and I was like, if I hear horse cock, I'm going to be so mad.
No, let's play it through. Okay.
All right.
So, she gets her way into Disney. Then what? Movies go downhill. Then what? Less people go see them. This is the caveat to the get woke, go broke not being a thing. If you fuck up 40 fucking times in a row, eventually people are going to not want to go see your film. Not to mention the fact that movie viewership is already declining it's like the lowest point it's been in 20 years.
It doesn't even need to, you don't even need to fuck up twice for me to not go see your movie. I don't go see most of these movies simply on principle. So
well, they want to pander to the woke crowd. They cannot pander to woke and China and mainstream America at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. And you know what? I like Taika Waititi's approach. One for them, one for me.
Tiki Watiki.
Whatever. I like his approach. One for them, one for me. That's good.
Well,
But
it's interesting you're talking about that. I don't know if you've heard about this, Nacho, but this could be hope for the future or complete confusion. But really quick, Bubba Hotep over on the Streamlab says, I just want to point out Gina Davis starred in a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy. Yes, she did.
yes, she did.
No, good point. And what's more than that is it talked in that article like it's access media, right? And to write all that stuff up and about her and all that, it's about having access. So it's a puff piece. So I jumped over the few paragraphs where they talked about how awesome Gina Davis is and how many great films she starred in and so forth. But it lists the films and it's like, I starred in films that had strong female protagonists that blew people away with firearms. Is that what you want little girls to do? Oh, wait a minute. You only think that films influence people when it's something that'll support what you're doing. Any other time, it's just entertainment, right? See what I mean? Like this is my theory of change. You don't have a theory of change. Your theory is that film will influence people in the ways that I want it to, but not in the ways that I don't.
Well, it's not just going to influence film, though, because this is a text reader. It goes through scripts, which also means it's going to affect the comics, which is kind of the focus of this channel or this show.
Indeed, which brings us over to the comics, which is what I was talking about. Thank you for the next. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige adds Marvel Chief Creative Officer title. He'll oversee all creative and story initiatives. Okay, this is Jack Quiz and myself. We talked about this. We're kind of at a loss as to what to think of this. The CCO, Chief Creative Officer, up until now was Joe Quesada. And Quesada, well, anyone who's listened to this show have heard what we think about that guy.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
yeah, fuck him.
He's like, well, he's one Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Supposedly it's Sana Amanat doing these things, but I think he's got to sign off for it. It's like all of the crappy storylines and stuff. Would you not blame the chief creative officer who's supposedly making all editorial decisions on how these things are supposed to happen?
Yeah, like Civil War, One More Day, House of M.
Yeah. So think about this for a second. we complain about comics all the time, especially Marvel, because they're just
The worst.
top of the hill of crap in terms of fucking over legacy characters and stuff, and promoting crap that nobody wants to read and pretending as if it's popular. Ghost Spider, fucking Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Gay Iceman.
Miss Marvel is a record-breaking character, Polly. You don't believe how many they sell in the Scholastic market.
Hey, this is going back and forth in chat. Guys. There was a multitude of reasons yesterday why the show didn't happen yesterday, and it's happening a day late. We sent out a tweet. It's not that big of a deal. My God, this isn't late. We had to postpone for a whole bunch of reasons that if you heard them, you'd be like, oh shit, okay. Like, just,
It's okay, guys. It's okay.
Yeah. So let's just read like the story that there is. Deadline, the website right here, is the one are the ones that actually broke it, and everybody in Comicsgate's talking about this. Exclusive. A major structural shift is taking place at Marvel as the brand looks to put even more of its stamp on the Walt Disney Company with the upcoming launch of Disney. Yes. Launch of Disney Plus. All of Marvel's creative personnel is moving under Marvel Studio president Kevin Feige. Huh. The creative guy behind all of the MCU stuff. Deadline hears that Feige is adding the title of Chief Creative Officer, Marvel, to his title. What that means for the brand is that all of the company's key creative executives across film and TV now report to him, sources say. Already a master of the MCU, Feige's oversight will extend to all creative direction of Marvel's storytelling and content creation platforms. As part of this, Marvel TV and animation generator Marvel Family Entertainment will move under Feige's Marvel Studios banner. Now, everybody's saying this has to do with the comics. I don't read that in all of the stories that I've read. Yes, Joe Quesada is no longer in that spot. Feige is, but they just keep referencing Marvel Studios for movies and Marvel TV for all of their Disney Plus crap.
Right.
I don't hear them referencing, like, it's like, I'm going to take this title, but Joe Quesada is going to continue on with it under another title, is my fear.
There's still a finite amount of resources when it comes to what they're willing to lose for the sake of virtue. Like, I wonder what their bottom line is. If we lose this much money in this amount of time, we're done doing this. I wonder what that is.
I don't know if they have that. They're kind of dumb these days.
And they draw from so many different sources, right? Like, think about all of the different pots that Disney has money coming in from. Theme parks, merchandise, all of the sub-studios that they've created to create film. What did they just buy? They just bought...
I'm like 90% sure the theme parks are self-sustaining.
Except for Galaxy's Edge,
Edge.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to Galaxy's Edge. No one wants to hang out with a giant plushy Ray,
I want to say it was my brother, maybe. I was talking to him about the theme park, and I went there when I was a kid. And I was like, what do you think would happen if someone got hurt and sued the park for like $10 million? He's like, fucking nothing. They don't do fireworks for 2 days, and that's it. Like, that park will be fine.
So here is the part that matters in terms of comics, in terms of print comics, floppies, and digital. Here's how the reporting structure will line up under Feige. Dan Buckley will continue as president of Marvel Entertainment. That's the comics group. Where Ike Perlmutter remains chairman. Long a creative collaborator for Feige in publishing and television, Buckley will have a dual reporting structure going forward. He will continue to oversee publishing / creative editorial, and in that capacity, he will now report to Feige. Buckley is also responsible for publishing operations, sales, creative services, games, licensing, and events. There, he will report to Perlmutter. It is expected that Joe Quesada will remain a creative lead for Marvel Entertainment, reporting to Buckley. It is expected that all creative execs in publishing will report to Buckley. Now, that means, think about the way that it reads. It is expected that Joe Quesada will remain a creative lead. Like you said, Jack, a lateral move to a different position. But Buckley is the one that everyone's answering to when they used to be answering to Quesada. So you'd have to be in the boardroom to know what all that means in terms of if there's going to be any change editorially for the comics, in my opinion.
I think we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't suspect that there's going to be any momentous change with Marvel. Marvel will keep on doing what Marvel's doing and run themselves into the toilet.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, what's Amazing Spider-Man shipping, Jack? Like, what's it shipping? 22,000?
Something ridiculously bad like that.
Yeah.
I'll look it up quick.
Like 22,000 comics at $3.99 a pop. And that's one of their flagship #1 outstanding comic series. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Disney is even aware that they own this company? Do you understand what I mean? They own the IPs. That's what they care about. They own the licensing. I don't think they give a fuck enough about these several thousand issues of whatever the fuck is being sent out every month. It would be like a giant corporation, and somewhere down the line, a couple of kids have a lemonade stand. Are you really going to take a big notice of what they're doing? Or are you just going to let them keep selling lemonade on the sidewalk? Who cares?
They do sometimes.
That's usually the result of racism, though. So I've been told.
Yeah.
I want it to be a big deal. I just become so... None of them care. The comics have just become a way to promote people's ideologies and for angry comic book professionals who have no background, looking at you, Zoe Quinn, to say bullshit stuff on Twitter because now they have a professional title.
Get real quick aside. I just want to come out and publicly say it. On voice.
You're gay?
No, we had the whole society thing, right?
Right.
We live in a society. Does anyone find it funny that Zoe Quinn has a higher body count than the Joker?
Does she?
Yeah, she berated a guy to suicide. More people have died to her than died because of the Joker.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
Well, there were 2 people in the theater smoking. So who knows how many people they gave lung cancer? It's all down there.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
Jesus. So let's talk about something that we rarely talk about on this show. Crunchyroll.
I again download all my anime. All my one anime that I watch.
Anime and mango.
Maybe you guys have heard of this and I haven't. Maybe it's a thing that came up for you and I had just never heard of it. Did you know that there is a Blade Runner anime under development and it's coming out in 2020 on Crunchyroll?
No, I didn't.
There already is a Blade Runner animation. It's an animated short, and it came out ahead of was it 2046? Whatever that the date on the new Blade Runner was.
2049.
2049. Yeah, there's actually an animated feature that goes along with that.
Would you believe? Would you believe 3 animated shorts?
Yes.
I have never heard of any of this and only found out about it last night. I went and watched one of them, Blackout 2022, Blade Runner Blackout 2020. Came out in 2017, as you said, before 2049. Came out through Crunchyroll. Never heard of it. I mean, my central thesis of this entire thing is Crunchyroll sucks dick at promotion. I mean, that is... That's
before the Vic Mignogna lawsuit, I'd never heard of Crunchyroll or Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, fair enough.
I watched Star Trek Continues. I had heard of Vic Mignogna. He's Captain Kirk. So there's so Blade Runner Blackout, which is 2022, 2036 Nexus Dawn, and what's the third one? I had it written down here. I can't find it. They came up with 3 15-minute anime shorts. They're available there. I watched one of them. Blackout was fucking awesome. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. That Blade Runner's a massive franchise. Don't these people care about promoting awesome shit that they have?
You guys want to hear something I've never admitted on stream before?
You're gay?
I have never watched any of the Blade Runner movies.
Really?
Really?
Get on that, man. They're actually really good.
I'm in the middle of making a murderer right now.
Well, I'll tell you this. Somebody told me, you should watch Blade Runner. I said, man, I've heard about this movie for years and years. This is my first year of my master's degree. I went and watched. I was bored as fuck. I thought it was really boring. And then I went back to my friend who had recommended it to me. And I said, man, that movie sucked. It was boring. And he said, okay, listen, I think you went in with, he said, what didn't you like? And I described it to him. He said, okay, I think you went in with the wrong mindset. That movie is, and he went into this detailed description, and go watch one of the original cuts, not the final cut, which is the one that I watched. And kind of going in with a different mindset. Here's what you're looking for. Here's what people liked about it. Here's the trends that it set and all of the influence that it had. I would recommend going back and watching it on that basis. I did, like, months and months later. Yeah, I've turned into a big Blade Runner fan subsequently. So yeah, I would recommend you watch it going in with the right mindset of realizing this kind of defines cyber noir in a lot of people's minds and influence. Like, no Ghost in the Shell without Blade Runner. Not really. Like, and no Neo Tokyo at all. Not really. Like, in terms of all of the animes that deal with dystopian tech future kind of thing.
Now, don't listen to anything Polly just said. Go watch Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons and Kirstie Alley. It's a superior movie, and look at the cast.
That sounds like a terrible movie.
Yeah, I was gonna go watch Blade Runner.
What the hell was that?
I'm okay. I'm okay with Tom Selleck, but Kirstie Alley, no.
You know what I actually thought you were going to do there, Jack, and I missed my guess? I thought you were going to say, no. You need to go watch Logan's Run. That's where it all began.
Oh man, Logan's Run is great.
And that movie's awesome.
That was a fantastic movie.
I missed my guess on what you're going to do there.
It's just to show the sense of humor my family has. My mother got me Logan's Run for my 30th birthday.
Ouch.
Don't die.
Yeah, right.
Time for carousel.
Time for carousel.
So here's the thing. Somebody has to say, how many Blade Runner movies? His answer is 2. Yeah, that is the right answer, 2. But there's a infamous amount of cuts of the first 1982 Blade Runner.
Yes.
There's
there's the director's cut, the fucking, theatric cut, the original cut. And it's like, fuck off. Just get the director's cut. That has everything in it.
No, the director's... The best one is the working print. Anyway.
Damn it, Polly.
It is. That's my legitimate opinion. Because what happened is they took the film and they'd finished it, editing it. And they go show it to test audiences in Los Angeles. And they said, oh, this movie sucks. We don't like it. So they recut it. And that became the theatrical cut. And there were 2 theatrical cuts. The one shown in the US and then the one shown everywhere else. The one shown everywhere else was more raw. It has, 13 minutes of additional footage. A lot of the sex and violence and stuff is kept in it because for some reason they thought the American audiences wouldn't like it. Go figure. So if you're going to have to watch one theatrical, watch the international theatrical. But I mean, this gets heavy duty nerd. So yeah, there's really only 2 movies, but this new series coming out just sounds awesome as fuck. I'm reading like, okay, so who is this person who's doing Black Lotus? How animu does that sound?
Yeah.
The Crunchyroll series is Blade Runner Black Lotus. And all of the money that Crunchyroll must be paying and all of the difficult deals that they no doubt worked out behind the scenes to do the English dub and to have the licensing fees for it and all of this shit. And who's the director and the creative director for it? Shinichiro Watanabe. He made some things you might have heard of. Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy. Like, the guy's fucking huge. He's a fucking animu rock star. Crunchyroll.
Are you gonna list stuff I've heard of?
What's that?
I haven't heard of any of these things.
Oh, really?
Really? Cowboy Bebop?
Bebop.
That one's like hard to avoid.
familiar.
I think Cowboy Bebop is
I tend to
massive.
tune out when people are talking about cartoons.
I did too.
What do you mean? You're a huge anime fan.
No, I'm not.
No,
Where'd you get
Sinatra.
that crap? Oh.
No, I'm not. I like Dragon Ball.
It's a fucking cartoon, man.
Yeah, that's it.
You said I tend to tune out when people are talking about cartoons. I've seen your DBZ collection. This is a contradiction that can't be resolved. Come on.
You're not talking about DBZ, so I don't care.
All right. My point is, I'm super excited about an anime, and that, never happens. So this Blade Runner Black Lotus coming in 2020. I'm excited as fuck, man. I saw some
All right,
of the...
I wrote the note down. International cut Blade Runner. It is now hung up on my computer.
Nice.
And Runaway.
I'm not doing that.
And
Had Gene Simmons and Tom Selleck.
Gene Simmons, like the weird afro having exercise guy.
No,
What?
Yeah, that's what I
Gene
was saying.
Simmons from Kiss.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a weird guy.
Who was I thinking of? That?
You're thinking of the fucking fitness dude with
Yeah.
Gene Simmons buy at home tapes.
It's not Gene Simmons.
What's that guy's name?
Gene
It's
Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
It's Richard Simmons. Whatever.
Sweating in the oldies, dude. Come on.
I'm a replicant and 1 and 2.
You know, like, why the fuck are you watching a movie with him?
That was a completely fair description. The afro dude who does exercise. That was totally fair.
I knew exactly who you were talking about.
We all did.
That's Richard Simmons. Whatever.
It's same thing, Gene, Richard.
And because
Whatever.
I haven't talked about it in a little while, guys, go check out Blade Runner 2019, current series from Titan. It fucking rocks. It's up to issue 4 now. This is one of the covers of issue 2. Man, fuck you, Marvel. This tiny little comic book company, Titan, whoever the hell they are, they're so small they're kicking your ass. This is one of the best new comics going on out there right now.
The worst thing about Titan is that they lost the license to the Games Workshop comics because Marvel has it now.
Well, you know what? That's sad for me, and I'm not even a huge 40K guy. Because, I mean, like, if Blade Runner is any kind of indication of the quality they're willing to put into licensed, beloved IPs, it should have stayed with them.
Yes. The Titan comics that came out for Warhammer were great. They were fantastic.
Marvel's just, well, Marvel/Disney just has the big bucks. You know, that's what it ultimately.
Yeah, they have more money to throw at them. Yeah. To say, hey, just forget about Venom Space Knight. You don't need to see those comics. Please don't sue us.
Really quick, thanks to Evolve Potato for posting all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out something because it is the Halloweens and all. You might have noticed all of the pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns up on Twitter. I read this last night.
Spooky month.
Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror.
Oh yeah.
I actually read this last night. It's great from Ahoy Comics.
Was it good?
No.
No, it wasn't. Oh wow. Okay.
It's, if you know, like, even vaguely something about Edgar Allan Poe's writing, it's a fun flip through. If this was being sold at Alterna prices, yeah, it would have been absolutely worth it. But kind of like $4 is for a fun read of something I'm probably not going to read again, except to hand over to a friend to say, here, laugh your way through this. Like, I just mean, it's charming. I mean, come on, it's Edgar Allan Poe punching Hitler. It makes no sense, but it's fun. And the art style's kind of cool. If you guys, I'll wait a second for it to come in. He drinks absinthe, you see, because he's into hallucinogens, because he's Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe died like 100 years before Hitler.
Yeah, well. Ritual or recipe. The sacrament is sugar. And sobering anointment of ice water. Here's to the observance. And if you don't know, this is one of the ways that you can, like the traditional way of doing absinthe. You put a particular shaped spoon across the top, a sugar cube, you burn it, and then you pour the absinthe, blah, blah, blah. It's this whole thing where people convince
you cook heroin and then you dump it in the fucking drink.
It kind of looks like that's what he's doing here. But
literally,
if you take a look at the art style, it's sort of very 2D digital animation or digital art style. I kind of like it. It works for 1800s style Poe story, if that makes sense. It was a fun read. Like, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to find not straight up horror stuff, but Halloween-y stuff this month to read, and that's why
he said weenie.
Jesus Christ. I'm so glad that we have 12-year-olds on this show. It reaches the youth audience that way.
If you want to see you talking, if you didn't.
Scribe, he just the dumbest shit. Hold on, let me pull it up.
What?
I was shilling the creepypasta.
Okay.
And I was gonna drop like an hour and some change long video Like, I'm dropping a big fat turd in your sub box on the Creepypasta channel, and he retorts with this.
So if you like creepypasta or stinky poopy,
People love stinky poopy Scribe.
Stinky poopy. All right. God damn it, Scribe. Didn't you know that people might record that and possibly put it on a soundboard?
Shit.
I was telling these guys before we went live, I mean, it's Halloween, right? So I'm trying to read stuff that's like, I like suspense and gothic horror. I tend to not like jump scare horror, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I like Edgar Allan Poe's writing. It's creepy in a gothic horror kind of way. Creepypasta, I'm not really into so much. Some of them can be done really well. Like Creepsin's cool, and Psycho Rick, your boy Pat's Creepypasta channel is cool. I'm a fan. I like both of them, but I haven't been back to Creepsin since I fell asleep like a month ago when you were doing like the all weekend radio thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just playing like a 24-hour radio station for chat, if you don't know, over on Sinatra's Creepypasta channel. And I fell asleep to it, and I have fucking bad nightmares, man.
Oh, shit. Really?
Well, yeah, because you're doing the shitty, ASMR. And I didn't intend to fall asleep. I just did. And yeah, shitty nightmares.
Oh, boy.
I was joking with these guys. It's not like fat Italians were chasing me, but creepy nonetheless. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's-
Rapey Italians in your dreams.
So creepy Italians are chasing me.
If you guys do want to read this, it's up on Comixology. It's actually a fun read. The snifter of horror. If you know anything about Poe's writing, it ends up relating in one way or another the story of the actual Edgar Allan Poe in his own time, going around, and there's a dead woman named Lenore, of course there is, where the old man stores his wine in her sepulcher, where he goes to steal it, and the old man ends up, there's a body under the floorboards, and there's a cat, and in other words, elements from a whole series of Edgar Allan Poe stories.
It's a lot of callbacks.
Yes, big time. And it's all put together in this one story in a sort of like a mashup way with this particular kind of comic book art. I had fun reading it. Fuck it. It was corny, but I dug it. So yeah, Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror. This isn't my pitch for this week, but something that's like Halloween-esque. Why not? This was a fun read. And you get to see Edgar Allan Poe punching Hitler, so why not?
All right, I'm pulling this up. Said Comics Ahoy.
Comixology.
Yeah, it's on Comixology, which is like the Twitter, or excuse me, Amazon for digital comics. It is an Amazon company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There it is.
Yeah.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Never suspecting. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Not going to buy it, but it's good.
Bleeding Fool has this article that I don't even want to read it because it's so obvious that it's obvious. It's the shrinking market for superhero and comic book extras, merch, basically. T-shirts, action figures, Star Wars action figures. They talk a lot about the shrinking market for Star Wars action figures because it seems that the majority of people that are willing to pay big prices for expensive comics and all of the merch happen to be in their mid-20s and up.
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding. You mean kids don't want to buy a Poe Dameron action figure? I don't understand why. He's very diverse.
Say it right.
Poe Dameron!
Thank you.
I mean, you're not even like they think writing Miss Marvel that's going to be that is their way of aiming comic books at young kids. Is that the way to aim comic books at young kids is what Alterna's doing, trying to get into gas stations. You know what I'm talking about, like having a comics rack there. Brilliant move to push newsprint comics, thus more affordable, like $1.25 a piece, $1.50 a piece. That's where it's at. A kid can't afford a $3.99 comic.
$3.99 if you're lucky.
Yeah. And like a constant number ones, right? And the number one issue, because they will always sell more, and they know that they'll sell more, so they charge $6.99 for the number one issue, when they often have the same amount of pages as every other issue, 22 to 23 pages. And it's,
well, look at the
how's a kid
scam they
supposed,
pulled.
how's a kid supposed to buy 4 comics a week? Think about the math of that. You're an 8-year-old kid and your pockets are flush with cold hard cash. Like maybe a few kids out there, but not the majority of them.
No.
Well, look at what they did with House of 10 and Powers of 10. There was a lot of filler space with these white pages that would have like one sentence on them. And if you'd taken all those out, the book would have been a $2 cheaper, piece of work as opposed to $5.99 or $4.99.
Yeah.
I think you mean Hawks and Pox.
Yes.
The House of Pox. I think, I mean, you have an older audience, and it's like, well, it's because the audience is aging. I just don't think you have anything that appeals to kids and their imaginations. If you want to tell, I mean, hiring Ta-Nehisi Coates to use Captain America as his personal soapbox to preach social justice from, and you think a bunch of 12-year-old boys are going to be like, hell yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Boys, I'm gonna fuck off to bed. It's after 2:00. I am a sleepy boy.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks for coming on.
All right. See you later.
Later.
Take care.
Later, Sinatra.
That's my point. It's like it's great for them to signal to their other progressive friends, hey, we got Ta-Nehisi Coates, a, in my opinion, racist race hustler, writing Captain America. Oh wow, aren't we progressive for doing this? It's a virtue signal higher. The guy is not a fiction writer. He's a nonfiction essayist. Why would you? It's like hiring Zoe Quinn. Like all the 12-year-old boys out there that are just gonna jump to read Zoe Quinn's newest book. And more to the point, it's like, well, no, it's not meant for boys. What about girls? You show me how many 12-year-old girls who even know who Zoe Quinn is.
Excuse me, girl identifying people.
Right. Who even, who knows who she is? People that were Gamergate or hate Gamergate. That's who knows who she is. She's only known to the people that move in these relatively small spheres inside of Gamergate, Comicsgate, and social justice advocates on Twitter. And you hired her thinking that this was going to be a good move to do what? Reach this diverse phantom audience you're always seeking? They don't know what any of these things are. They just know the stories are getting worse and worse. Somebody wrote in chat, Evil One, how about write better stories? No, that's not going to happen because you hire people that are using it as a platform to promote their own career as a social justice advocate. I wrote comics as well as made games, as well as got published in the New York Times. They're doing it as another line on their resume, and you morons are hiring them as a signal of how progressive you are for having hired them. See how diverse we are? I mean, is Mags Visaggio better than any of the other fledgling writers out there? No, but she is trans and never shuts up about it on Twitter, and she has a big following in the trans community on Twitter. So we'll hire her because that gives us big social justice points. Does it sell comics? And the answer, of course, is no. All of her series have done really poorly. But that doesn't matter, apparently. But she did sell a show to Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi Network.
Oh, God. What did she sell?
I forget. Jack, do you know?
It's the one with the chicks in space.
The one with the chicks in space.
Yeah, they're all the same. I mean,
Goddess Mode?
No. No, Mags Visaggio, not Zoe Quinn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mags Visaggio sold a show IP to the Sci-Fi Network. To Syfy.
Yeah, it was they're the ones that Zach's always making fun of. Space Bandits is a knockoff of it.
Oh. And your boy Zach, this has become one of the drums that he beats, and I don't think incorrectly. So many comics made now are not made to sell comics. They're made to sell ideas for shows to Netflix. Because they've run through the main stable of characters. They're moving on to fucking She-Hulk and fucking Moon Knight. Don't get me wrong. Moon Knight is near and dear to my heart, but I'm not going to pretend he's an A-list popular character. He's not. But they've done Daredevil, they've done X-Men, they've done Spider-Man, they've done, like, it's, we want to make shows about stuff. Well, what else you got? So they're open to, like, and they're pillaging the old things, right? Watchmen, for example. They're pillaging the legendary stuff. I mean, they've done Dark Phoenix, they've done, think about it, every major Days of Future Past, they've mined the majority of the really well-known material. Now they're moving on to the lesser and lesser, which means they're going to be buying IPs from small creators like Magdalene Visaggio, because they'll sell for cheap and they've got some idea, and they're television producers, so we know they have no imagination. That's where it's at. Well, that was, I'm sorry for being depressing. Jesus Christ. What was it that I wanted to show you? Oh, here. This. I'll wait for it to come up. Talking about stupid creators with bad ideas, and Zoe Quinn was one of them over on DC Vertigo, the DC imprint called Vertigo. That went.
Now she's making the Addams Family comic.
Yes, she is making the Addams, because she's totally goth. Totally goth.
Totally goth.
Totally.
So one of the other writers on the social justice imprint, in retrospect, that's exactly what it was. Vertigo was just a social justice imprint for DC. Zoe Quinn wrote one comic called Goddess Mode, and another one that was going to be printed there was called Second Coming. That got canceled before its first issue even went to print. So the creators went over to Ahoy Comics as well. Look at the cover of number 4, guys. It's up on your screen, or it should be.
That's the cover? It looks like an interior.
This is the interior of the Snifter of Horror comic. Do you see what I'm saying?
So then
This is an advertisement in the interior of Snifter of Horror.
Oh.
Because they're both printed by Ahoy Comics. But this is the cover of number 4, the background image. Do you see what's happening here? See, this is Jesus, and he's in jail. And the guy has a bottle of water, and he's talking about wine. You see, he wants Jesus to turn the water into wine. Huh? Huh? That's clever, am I right?
Was he arrested for drunken disorderly? Because that seems like a bad idea.
No, he was probably protesting with some peaceful Antifa and got arrested.
Well, there's all sorts of other hands that are out. Like, people are asking for money. People are asking to be healed. And Jesus, like, oh my God. The whole comic is based around, what happens in Second Coming back to Earth, and he finds out that Christianity has been totally distorted from his original teachings. He needs to fix everything because Christianity's all wrong. Because a couple of social justice people decided so. And Richard Pace comes through with his spectacular art, as per usual.
I don't like his art.
No, neither do I. It's not exactly bad. I don't think he's an incompetent artist at all. It's just I'm not
very mediocre.
Yes. Yes. So there it is. We should move on to pitches and wrap this guy up. If you haven't already, by all means, as Ebony Williams suggests, hit that like button. And if you are so inclined, please share on Twitter or retweet the tweet that I sent out inviting people by. Do it that way too. All greatly appreciated, and certainly thank you to all the people that have donated thus far. That is sincerely appreciated. So I can go first. I'm ready to, if you guys wanted. I've got a really quick and kind of obvious pitch.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, well, you guys get set up, and I will pitch my comic. I was looking for something Halloween-oriented, because I did a Halloween-oriented thumbnail. But I didn't want to pitch that the Edgar Allan Poe Snifter of Horror. Because, well, it was a fun read. I don't think it was pitch-worthy. I wouldn't really... if you come across and you got the money, yeah, grab it. It's a fun read for Halloween. Other than that, I can't say it's that great. But I do want to talk about a comic book that is great. Doom, #1. I read it last night. It's so good. It's really good.
Oh, is this the new one?
Yeah. This is the brand new series that I completely didn't know existed. I was talking to Jack and Quiz about this offline, and I said, well, online, but off stream. I was like, were you guys even aware of this? And I love the way Jack said, he's like, how are you supposed to know? Do you know how many things Marvel prints every month? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Like, he makes it like, seriously, I didn't even, like, Doctor Doom is my favorite supervillain of all time. I wasn't even aware that they were producing a new series. It's not like Crunchyroll where they're just absolutely shit at promoting themselves. It's that I agree with Jack. They've got so much stuff on their plate that there's no way you can keep track of it all. And something as awesome as this completely slipped under the radar until after it was already out, and I found out about it after the fact. Wild. If you have read Infinity War, which I pitched previously, you're going to love this comic especially. It's Doctor Doom after Doom's Return, which was a 3-issue series a good while back. He returns from, let's just say, exile. He gets exiled by somebody from Earth and makes his way back eventually. And so he's reestablishing himself in Latveria because people are kind of sick of him being Doom. That's kind of the pitch. It's like, oh, guess what? Victor Von Doom, king and dictator of Latveria, is at it again. And what is he going to do? He ends up seeking what real power. Like, is real power just pushing people around? Is there some other kind of power that I could be looking for? He's always been a magical oriented guy. He combines science and magic at the same time. Of course, there's the ongoing thing of his mother's soul trapped in Mephisto's realm that he's trying to recover. If you don't know Doom and you want to read a comic book that's based around a supervillain and is well written, start here. This fills in all the backstory of Doctor Doom, of who he is. What a great place to start. Totally recommend it. The art is, I gotta say, passable. I don't think it's great. I'm just gonna pause on this screen so you guys can wait to see it come up because I know you delay. But this should be an awesome splash page of Doom that looks great, and it looks okay. It doesn't look bad. It just looks okay. I'm hoping other artists come along after a while. It certainly didn't detract from the quality of the story that is so good, establishing who Doom is and so forth. There's one point that, and here it is on screen. This made the comic for me, if nothing else. This is Dr. Doom and sitting in his study. And is he writing with a fountain pen while wearing a silk smoking jacket? Why, yes, he is.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. He's sitting in his personal library. I want this study. Look at this. Everything's like leather bound. He's got like a globe and everything. I love this. I love all the things in this. It's great. So he's writing out his material, and then in comes Kang. Okay, you guys should totally be excited by that. I was hoping Jack was going to go, really? This is Kang the Conqueror, man from the past, man from the future, man out of time. He's a interdimensional cross-time conquering warlord, hence the name Kang the Conqueror. Him and Doom have a long crossover history. That's why I referred to the Infinity War. They teamed up to steal the Infinity Gems, the Infinity Stones, from the Magus, who they thought had them, but it turned out you'd have to read the Infinity War comic series to find out how that turns out. But these guys are old allies of a sort. They don't trust each other. Kang shows up out of nowhere to offer Doom a Faustian bargain that he kind of can't refuse but doesn't want to. It's always an uneasy alliance between these two guys. When I flipped the page and saw Kang show up, because I didn't know anything about this comic, I was like, oh shit, he's going to deal with Kang again. I was excited. This is great fun. If you want to read a villain-based comic book that's well written, Doctor Doom, #1. Highly recommended. Great stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Evil One says, Poly Studios closet. No. Well, my study's at campus, but I do have the Lodatorium where I do all. That's none of your business where I do my stuff. All right. So,
I thought you had to move your study out.
Oh, no, that was at the second campus that I was. Yeah, I had to pick. Remember, and they said because of the change in the contract, they don't want to hear about this. Yeah, I had to remove a bunch of my stuff from a remote campus over to they didn't want the tiny little cabinet and all of my books over there because my research contract terms had changed. Fine.
What that really means, audience, is They were like, "Who are you? Why are you in this room? This. This building isn't allowed to be entered by anyone. It's condemned.
What do you
This
mean?
is my study."
I'm Dr. Dubbenstein. This is my study. I've been here for years. I know the dean.
Where did that fireplace even come from? I had it installed.
It's fine. It's just a TV.
Okay. Who would like to go? Actually, let me draw you guys over here. Who would like to go next?
I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. You are presented.
I just found out about this when Polly was talking about horror comics. So I saw it and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to see what this is like. I downloaded it and read it like right before we went live, and fuck it. I'm going to pitch it. It's written by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, art by Francesco Francavilla. My pitch is Afterlife with Archie Comics.
Man, they do a lot of different stuff with Archie these days.
Yes, they do. This is issue 1. I just found out that there's 10 issues. They have like coherent stories that they tell, subsequently, down the line for issues, and then they'll go into like a completely different story. I kind of spoiled it for myself. Issue 10 deals with Josie and the Pussycats and their vampires. But this one, it starts off with Hot Dog, Jughead's dog, dead, was hit by a car.
Jesus.
I did not do that.
What? Yeah, Jack did not do it. And so he brings the dead dog to Sabrina's house to try and get them to use their magic to bring the dog back to life. But her aunts tell her that it's necromancy, and necromancy is forbidden by witchcraft. And Sabrina is racked with guilt at seeing how devastated Jughead was at his dead dog. So she goes and steals the Necronomicon and performs a ritual to bring his dead dog back to life. Only when she comes back, her aunts come out after oh god, what's her cat's name? Salem. After Salem said that he couldn't stop her aunts from finding out. Her aunts bust in, remove her mouth, and exile her from the mortal dimension. And then all the meanwhile, at Riverdale, there's a Halloween party going to be coming on. And yeah, it's like slowly devolving. You can see where this sort of thing is happening. The next morning, Riverdale High, less than 12 hours to the first contagion. So you can see kind of where this story is going.
Well,
and here's a nice resurrected picture of Hot Dog there, But I figure we'll just skip to the very end of the thing and see the last picture. And holy spit, look, his costume's amazing.
Jesus Christ. So you showed the last page. I mean, could you be any worse at spoilers?
This is just the first bit in. Okay, spoilers with the 12 hours to the first contagion.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right. Really quick.
That's issue 1. I'm hooked. I'm gonna read the rest, man.
Really quick. I've been trying to type in chat the whole time, and my computer's running. It really frustrates me, actually, how I can't type in chat as much as I'd. Virgil Grin asked, I tried really hard to read Infinity Gauntlet, but I just couldn't get past like an 8 of it. Am I just casual? Like a gag for not being able to get through it? No, that would be a bad example. That comic was written like by Jim Starlin to be like complicated. It was I'm going to make the story much more intense than the Infinity Gauntlet in the Infinity War, and it only gets deeper from there. That comic, that miniseries is deep, deep lore and written to be dense. And now, I would not say you should feel like a casual for reading it and being like, read like Batman Year One, or you know what I mean? Like a comic that's meant to, like that was a deep dive place to start off reading, or if you're not a continuous ongoing lore addict to jump into Infinity War, that's a pretty intense. And Matt of Winter says horror comics. Horror.
Horror.
I've read adult comics and just fucking Japanese and their tentacles, man. They're just too weird for me. Anyway, Jack.
Virgil Grin real quick said, what are the legalities of Archie, Josie and the Pussycats and the Hanna-Barbers? Hanna-Barbera actually licensed Josie and the Pussycats from Archie. They were originally an Archie property, and the reason why the Hanna-Barbera cartoon became a thing is because it was, an adaptation of the comic book. So comic came first, and then cartoon.
Nerd. All right, Jack, you ready?
Yeah, this is gonna be kind of awkward because I'm pitching Archie 1955.
Nice.
Is this the year that Pennywise first showed up or something?
No, that'd have been awesome. This is not a horror comic. This is a slice of life kind of story. It's written by Brian Augustin and Mark Waid.
Oh God, what's wrong with you?
Line art by Tom Grummett, coloring by Glenn Whitmore. Well, you got to give credit where credit's due. When they do a good job, you got to say they did a good job.
Yeah.
And this is about a local DJ. Here's Archie playing at his last high school dance and offers to play his demo. Well, Archie doesn't have a demo, so he goes out in search of inspiration, and he goes to a black bar, which is a big no-no back in the 50s. And here's a guy who's like a Chuck Berry knockoff, and he gets inspired. And he hangs out with his only black friend, because that's probably the only black guy in Riverdale.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But it's actually a really interesting story, but it's told by somebody else, like to a reporter as an expose.
Huh.
And Veronica gets in on it. She wants to have her dad pay for his demo and like take a percentage. It's actually a really good read. It's a good character study. It's not your usual sci-fi fare or anything like that. It's not a horror comic. It's just these kids going through, like, obviously there's going to be obstacles later because this is being told as an expose. So there's going to be some drama later. But this is a good build-up. It got me interested, and I'm planning on picking up the next several issues. This one just came out a couple weeks ago.
Huh.
So I thought it was surprisingly good. Archie at the beginning of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I thought it had a lot of potential. So I liked it. I was going to pitch this last week, but, here we are.
I'm not one to argue with somebody else. Because the whole idea is to convince somebody else. So, like, to convince each other that the comic is interesting. That's the point of the pitch, right?
Yep.
So, convince me that this isn't Mark Waid just injecting white kid steals black rock and roll, and it's also not a ripoff of the scene from Back to the Future that also happens in 1955.
No, he's not ripping someone off. He's being inspired.
Oh.
It's just like Elvis. I mean, he wasn't ripping him off. He was doing a similar thing.
Okay. So so he doesn't start the rock and roll revolution where all the kids love it? This music they've never heard before? This isn't right out of Back to the Future?
From what I could tell, it's sort of paralleling the Elvis storyline of how he came to fame and all the problems therein. It's definitely aimed at like teen and up, I would say, but I don't think anybody younger than 12 would even understand what's going on. They'd be bored with it. They'd be like, nothing's happening. Where's the explosions?
Fair enough.
But I thought I'd pitch something that isn't superhero fare for once.
Yeah.
And of course, me and Quiz are both pitching Archie comics, which has got to be an astronomical odds that would even happen.
Well, I've pitched Archie comics before, but I find it interesting. I actually went through and totaled up the publishers of each of our pitches, because I've got a database that I've been keeping for all of our pitches, and it's funny. Polly pitches almost as many Marvel comics as I pitch DC comics. And Jack, you overwhelmingly pitch indie comics.
Yeah, because most of the other stuff's garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to. If you don't like Marvel and DC and don't want to support them, at least you could pick up an indie book and support your hobby and the industry that way.
Yep.
So I've been giving a lot of other stuff a chance I normally probably wouldn't. Like, I've been reading more horror comics, and I picked up this one because I heard the 40s one was really good, and I liked that one. So I thought, well, I'll get this. And sure enough, it was good. So Brian Augustin, I think, did more of the heavy lifting than Mark Waid, but Mark Waid's actually doing pretty good Archie stuff over there.
Well, let's put it this way. The book looked good. The art was good. And
yeah, it's Tom Grummett, man.
Yeah, Mark Waid has absolutely nothing to do with the art. So
yeah, the art is very solid. It's actually pretty impressive for an Archie book, because they used to have a specific style for Archie for like 30 years.
Yeah, they said they had to draw him a certain way.
Yeah, and since they've been trying all this other stuff, like you pitched the horror book today, so I mean, they've been doing some pretty good stuff, and everybody's used to the goofy, boring, what we used to call homeschool books.
Yeah.
Because they were the safe ones that, like, the super Mormons would read at my school, Would be like, oh, did you read Superman? No, I'm only allowed to read Archie.
Get this. Here's a good thing for us to sign off on, because we should wrap it up. But I don't want to read this article. I just love the headline so much from Bleeding Fool. Will China embrace an increasingly gay Star Wars universe?
Wow.
Tell me that wasn't intentional. I know what you were doing there.
Well, no one else is, so.
Oh, God.
That was great. What a great title. It's like, no, we meant like LGBT, not, what you thought. Yeah, right. Anyway. So there it is, everyone. If you haven't already, by all means, hit like and subscribe, and sub to or follow all these guys on Twitter. Their links are below. Thank you to everybody very much who has donated and shared or liked thus far. And we will see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.